Alec, Pestro. How are we doing?
Doing pretty well.
Doing great. Yeah.
We're completing our tradition of, we did a video in the beginning of the Gents Challenge and now at the end of them. If you don't know what the Gents Challenge is, it's something on our little Discord server we have where we are all randomly assigned, partnered up with each other, and then we have to pick a game from each other's list to play through within a 2-month deadline. And if you do so, you're a gent. If you don't do so, you're a rascal. And we're here today to see how things went. And generally, we go in order of completion. So, Alec.
Yes.
How'd you do?
I'm not a rascal this time. I'm a gent. So I completed my game. I did it.
What games did you have, and then which one did you go with?
So I was challenged to beat. Actually, I'm completely blanking. I'm not kidding you at all. I'm actually completely blanking. What game did I play? Hold on. I'll remember it in a second here. I know I was challenged to play Final Fantasy 3. Oh, you have it? You have it with you?
I'm just looking.
Oh, I remember now. No, I know. So I was challenged to beat Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the GameCube.
Yes.
And also Final Fantasy 3, or 6. Final Fantasy 3 Super Nintendo. It was Final Fantasy 6. So I got around to playing through Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, and I went through that whole game and I beat it. And I didn't even get around to even like plugging in my my SNES Mini. So
so no Supreme Gent title.
No Supreme Gent. I was hoping to, but there was just so many games coming out, and there were games that we wanted to talk about on the channel. So there was a lot of stuff coming out, and I mean stuff we didn't talk about on the channel, like Death Stranding. Came out, and
you couldn't blame someone for like not finishing their games during the time. It was like it's completely reasonable.
It was just insane. Like it was the most insane time for games. So,
so thoughts on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle?
It sure is a video game, that's for sure. So I really like the Sonic and Shadow sequences of the game. Those levels are really good. They're designed pretty well. The Shadow levels are all way too short for some reason. It's like in the Dark Story or whatever it's called. I guess it's Dark Story. They decided to really skimp on the like Sonic style levels. Game's pretty janky. I mean, it's an older game, so it's slightly forgiving. The Sonic 3D games have always had some level of jank. Yeah, it's not as bad as like Sonic Adventure, though. I still like the Sonic levels in that game too. There are parts of so there's like, okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, there's 3 basic like gameplay styles in the game. There's the Sonic style levels. There's levels with Tails or Eggman when you're in like a mech, and you have like a laser or rockets that you can like aim and fire for combos and stuff at a bunch of the bad guys. And then there's Knuckles and Rouge the Bat levels where you are going around hunting for pieces of the Master Emerald that got shattered. Those levels are very hit or miss. The Knuckles levels, some of them are actually really great. Like Pumpkin Hill is just a great level, and people always remember the music of Pumpkin Hill because it's good. But there are so many of those levels that are just designed so poorly, where you're like in tight areas with a character that seemingly feels like he almost runs faster than Sonic at times, and you're in just these cramped areas where the camera is completely unwieldy, and the Tails and Eggman segments are like that a lot too. They weren't as bad as I was expecting them to be from what I remembered when I'd played it before, but they're not great. And then the last level of the game was just an exercise in patience. I got so frustrated with the last level of the game, which is basically like most of these Sonic games where it has like a gauntlet of basically you have to take control of every character in a row, more or less. They do their own segment, and they're making their way to the final boss. The final boss before the final boss, if that makes sense, is probably one of the most annoying and frustrating final bosses I think I've played in video games, period. And that includes the final boss of Sonic Generations, which Sonic Generations is almost a perfect game in my opinion. The only flaw is the final boss. This game has a lot of flaws, and its pre-final boss is terrible. The Bio Lizard, I guess, Bio Lizard, I guess is what its name is. Not fun. I was not having fun while I was playing it. But then during the whole final boss sequence was great. Live and Learn's playing, and you're flying around a supersonic, and it's great. That whole part is really fun. And it's also pretty short, but yeah, I mean overall, it's not a good game, but it's not like a terrible game. I feel like it deserves a little bit more credit than I think some of the haters give it, but it's certainly not the masterpiece that the people who love it say it is. It's definitely a very flawed game, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, but looking at doing like completionist stuff with it, like going back and getting all the medals and stuff, probably not for me. I was starting to do some of it, and I went back to a few levels, and I was just like, no, I think I've had enough of this game. So, for now anyway, maybe someday.
How would you rank it against like the other 3D Sonic games you played? Out of curiosity.
Out of the other 3D Sonic games, let's see. I've played Sonic Adventure 2. I haven't played Unleashed. Played Sonic and the Secret Rings. That game is hot garbage. Sonic 2006 I played through. That game is like artfully bad. It's definitely worse than this game. If they had maybe like another year's worth of polish on it, it could have been something great. But as it stands, that game is just horrible. But I love it. One of the other ones, I mean, Sonic Generations is just, like I said, is almost flawless. Sonic Forces was better luck next time, I guess is what I would call that game. Though I will say that was that and Sonic Generations were like the two Sonic games I've done like total completionist stuff with. I've done everything you can do in those games. So Sonic Forces, for what it's worth, I still had a great time with it. I'd probably put it below Sonic Generation. Obviously, put it below Sonic Generations. Put it below. I think I'd even put it below Sonic Forces. But above, I think above pretty much everything else. I'd put it above Adventure 1, certainly. Overall, it wasn't awful. It's fun.
There's something with the controls in the 3D Sonic games. There's just because in the 2D games there's sort of momentum when you run, kind of. In 3D games it's just like forward and it's just like boom, and it feels really like cheap. I want to say almost. I don't know. Like Sonic Adventure 2 especially had that mechanic where it kind of felt really like, am I a hedgehog? Like what am I? It just feels like you press forward and it's just like someone is dragging like the characters around on a map. It just doesn't feel it doesn't feel like you're the character moving at all. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's how I felt.
Yeah, it is kind of weird too because it feels like you want to have more analog control than you do, but you are still going in 8 directions most of the time, from what I can tell. So it's like it feels like you're jerking around when you're just trying to like slightly go to the right a little more, and it's just you're just like whoa, and now I'm over here. I guess it's just like
pretty much.
All right, so not a life-changing experience for you from this.
No, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad somebody forced me to finally play it. Sit down and play it. I think I'd say it's worth playing just to at least know what. Like I can understand why people have a strong attachment to this game. Like I can imagine if this is like the game you got when you were a little kid, this would be like the coolest thing because it's kind of edgy, but it's all because Sonic's cool and Shadow's like a bad guy, but you play as him and But yeah, I mean it is definitely not life changing. I love Sonic though. I mean I'll always love hate relationship with the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. So.
Right, Pestro, how about you? What games were you given, and which one did you go with?
Harvest Moon 64 and some of the Enders. So yeah, I went with Harvest Moon 64 first because, like I mentioned, I think in initial video, I never really dug really deep into the Harvest Moon series. I only likely played the Game Boy one when I was younger, but so this is like a good excuse to finally actually sit down and try and figure out how to play these games. But yeah, I think in the initial video I said that supreme easy this time, but yeah, I only managed to pull through with Harvest Moon 64. I didn't even touch some of the enders because I barely even finished Harvest Moon 64 on time actually. It took way longer than I expected it to take. And sure, okay. So how do I begin describing the journey? Well, first year. So the game kind of has an ending around the 3-year mark, 3.5, I guess, around it. And I managed to get the good ending actually, but there's many degrees of good. So when you finish the game, there's a sort of ranking that takes place depending on different aspects of the game, I guess. Like, for example, you can get married. There's all the things you can do in the game, right? So depending on how well you did and all of these different things, collected recipes, did all these things, you get graded differently. So while I did get the good ending, of course, I didn't do so well on like all of these things. I think I probably got like half of them or a third of them. I did okay, and the rest was kind of like, kind of failed. But yeah, so first year was obviously really rough in the game. Like I initially just had no clue what the hell I'm doing. I was just kind of it was pretty rough. So I had to like actually like do a little googling, like what do I do? Because I was just like,
no shame in that. No shame in that.
Yeah, because I couldn't understand, because I was. So here's the thing: I was trying to first plow like everything on the farm, and then try to buy things so I can sort them out. And I was just running out of stamina all the time, and then I tried to go to the. So one thing I should say though, in this game the clock runs really fast, and I think I actually asked my wife this, and she told me that it runs way faster than like in many of the other Harvest Moon games that she's played. So yeah, so in this game, like
it's less than a second a minute, because it's like a minute is a second, I believe, and or no, I can't remember what it is.
It's crazy fast actually. Like if you pause and unpause, it's like 5 minutes gone almost. It's ridiculous. Like I don't know exactly how fast it is, but it's really fast. So if you walk, like if you're in your farm and you have to buy something out, then go back to the farm, hours gone in the game. It's pretty crazy. You don't have time for many trips back and forth. You have to plan it ahead, kind of what you want. So that kind of messed me up in the beginning. I was just running out of stamina, running out of time, and I didn't really get a grip on my farm. It took me a while, just like a few seasons, just to be able to grow some crops and like get some income coming, like a steady cash flow. Because before I was just kind of saving up to buy like tomatoes or whatever it was, and then it was just kind of rough. But eventually started getting the hang of what I was supposed to do, I thought, and then I started exploring, talking to people more, and so what I was, after a while I kind of realized that there's so much you can do in this game. There's no way you can do everything in one day. You have to so I started taking it in a week. I started doing, okay, this day I'm gonna do this. So the main thing, of course, is to maintain the farm always, but then there's always going to be time for something extra in the day. So I try to plan ahead and be, okay, this, during my spare time, whatever you want to call it, today I'm going to go to town and chat with people and blah, blah, blah. And this day I'm going to explore the mountain area or whatever. And, after a while I started realizing, okay, you need to level up your weapons. So suddenly my weapon leveled up, and I was like, oh, what the hell, okay, that's useful. So I realized, okay, there's more to do than what it seems to be a lot of times. So, but anyway, I can talk about this for a while now. I started to realize I'm trying not to ramble, but it was a long journey. I feel it really was, and it took me like first year was kind of rough. I wasn't really enjoying it because I wasn't really. I feel like, am I doing the right thing? Like, am I doing this right? Like, well, am I failing? Am I doing good? Like, I was just kind of like, there's no indication of. It doesn't really say in the game if you're like, there's no meter to indicate your position, or so it's just kind of like you talk to people and have some dialogue and you just kind of have to guess if you did the right thing. Like, and some of it is weird too, because especially in the girls that you talked in the game, they'll say like, go away, and that means that you talk to them enough to the degree that and it's just like away. Like I was so after a while I got some hearts from some of them that I talked to, and I started also, leveling up the weapons. I found out about the mountains you can farm for minerals I was just there by accident and saw some, in a cavern. You walked in and asked me, do you want to go in and farm minerals? I'm like, yeah, of course. But I didn't know what to do with them though, so I just stuffed them in my shack, I guess. And I was just like, okay, I don't know. I didn't have time to like figure it out. I should have probably Googled what to do with them, but I just kind of left them there. I didn't really know. So it was a little bit of a bumpy road there. But I think when the game really opened up for me was when I bought chickens. So I saved up to buy animals because I thought, it'll be cool to try out. I feel like I tried the different crops. I learned trial and error that flowers can't be sold. So I bought like a bunch of flowers as soon as you could buy flowers. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to sell them for a lot of money. No, you can't sell them for money.
Oh,
so
man.
I lost a lot. So I lost like a lot. It took a while to recoup from that mistake. So the game is super harsh too, I should say. Like if you don't water your plants, in one day they can just die.
Yeah.
Same with the animals. My first 4 animals died because I forgot to feed them one day. And
Oh, no.
yeah, it was pretty rough actually. And then I also in the game you get to borrow 3 cows from some other person, another farm, if you're talking to them and get acquainted with them, I guess. And one of them died, I think.
Oh, no. That was actually something I was gonna say because I love the way the cows look in that game. They're just so cute looking.
Yeah, they are actually. They do,
Yeah.
and like the heart that pops up. And they have like the expression on their face too. It looks like they look really content when you pat them and stuff.
Yeah.
It's pretty satisfying for some strange reason. I don't know. And then I tried to. So speaking of the animals, I should say that part was a little bit annoying too. So each animal takes up like a full block on the map, so you can't like walk past them. You have to. So when you pat them, which you have to do for cows, you have to pat and use the brush on them, or we'll talk to them and use the brush, I guess. And whenever you do either of them, they start walking towards you. And when you start accumulating animals, like you kind of want to go like do everything efficiently during the day. So you could go and pat one animal, and he walks towards you, and then you can't. He's blocking you, right? Mm-hmm. So then you try to walk quickly with another animal, and then you pat him, and then he walks towards you, and suddenly you're just like blocked. And sometimes I was just blocked, just trying to like get off of me, right? Like go away. I'm just trying to get out of this like place. So that was a bit strange. I felt like they could have at least made you walk through the animals. It didn't make any sense to me. Yeah. The events were pretty cool though. I signed up for all of them: the horse racing and the dog. I forget what the dog event was. Something with a dog. And then there was a bunch of different ones. But I failed pretty much all of them though. Nice. Yeah, I signed up for the lotteries too. I never won any of them. So a scam probably.
Yeah.
It's a really fun moment too. There was like a salesman. So when you talk to one of the elderly people, she says that her son is a super successful salesman and blah blah blah. And you should talk to him to get some good deals. And some guy shows up in a suit every once in a while, and he always says, "Hey, you want to buy these seeds? You'll grow golden eggs if you give them to chickens." And you're like, "What? Okay, I gotta get these." And then afterwards, said, "Oh, you looked at the seeds and realized they're just plain regular seeds, but you bought them for like a high price." And so he scammed me in the game 100 times, but I was like, I might as well take the risk because you never know. No, it's just a scam. So it was a lot of like stuff like that in the game. It's kind of cruel, I guess. And yeah. So I eventually started getting the hang of things. I started getting the chickens were producing eggs, and that was the core thing because you get 300 gold per day for that actually. So if you put the animals outside, and when the rain comes, they'll get sick. So I tried to keep them indoors all the time because I didn't want to have more animals die on me than I had before. So safety over anything else pretty much. So yeah, I also get that going. It started getting better, and then I started being able to afford things, and as soon as I could like affording the crops wasn't a big deal, then that was pretty nice. And then as soon as I got the greenhouse, the game really opened up because so it never occurred to me before, but if you have a greenhouse, when you're inside a house, time actually stands still. And you're always fighting in this game. So when you're outside, when you're maintaining your crops, like you lose like a whole day usually if you have like a decent farm. But if you have a greenhouse, you have infinite time in the greenhouse. So as soon as I got the greenhouse, I just like, now I have a whole day and I can do whatever I want. So that's when I felt like I really started leveling. Yeah, that's when I really started leveling up a lot of things, and I started. So I got one of the girls that got to like the green heart because there's the white, blue, green. Then I think it's pink, and then you can marry her, whatever. I managed to get her to green at least. I was happy with that, but like no marriage happened though. And yeah, like it started getting better at that point, but it was a lot of saving up to get to that level. We had to chop a lot of woods, I remember. And yeah, so anyway, a long story. Sorry, I won't digress anymore. But overall, I enjoyed it. But I felt by the third year, it started like the end of the second year, the game reached the end at that point. Well, there was an ending, so which you kind of felt because I felt like it was starting to get a little bit stale. There was not a whole lot new going on in the game. Like I'd done after a while, I'd bought everything that I could, and was just attending events and doing the same thing, and kind of felt a little bit like if there was more content, I would have enjoyed keep playing. But I think as it was, I was kind of happy that it ended where it did. So yeah, overall, I actually really enjoyed it though, and actually I wouldn't mind playing another game in the series. But I felt like this one was a bit rough because it definitely showed its age a little bit. So I feel like if there's a game that's a little bit more lenient with like things and has more clear indication of progression, I should say, with certain aspects, then I think I could really enjoy it actually, because it has that MMO feel to it, where it's just you can just spend time in the world and just
I will say that as far as I know, most of them don't have clear progression, but I know Harvest Moon Animal Parade on the Wii has like an actual story element to it. Like there's certain like story items you have to get basically by doing certain things. So I feel like that's the definitive end after that. So that might be a good one. But other than that, yeah, you've already beaten one more Harvest Moon game than I've beaten. So I feel like I need to one Gents challenge just put like all of my Harvest Moon games, and that's my whole list. And I'll have to play Harvest Moon games.
It's gonna be like you really like that series, don't you?
Yeah.
So it's like it's interesting you haven't beaten any of them, but
yeah, I need to have an excuse to do it. So that's why I have so many Harvest Moon games. I could literally have a whole list for Gents challenge just Harvest Moon, and I have to play Harvest Moon.
That's awesome. I have to say one thing that I really felt was way too harsh in this game, though. I just before I move on, so if you don't get a bottle, so at the first summer apparently there's an event and there's a guy there selling a bottle. If you don't buy the bottle, you can't milk the cows, you can't buy potions, you can't do like a lot of stuff in the game. And of course I missed it, and so afterwards I looked up like how do I get milk from the cow so I get potions so I can survive, have more stamina during the day. And sorry, like you missed it, that's it. You had your chance. So next time when the event came, I was like I went up to talk to him, but no, he had that one chance apparently. So I was like, what?
That is rough.
That was really harsh. Like I was like, come on now.
It's encouraging multiple playthroughs, I guess.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. Yeah, and actually, I wouldn't mind actually replaying it, but because now I kind of know a little bit more of what I should do. I should say so. And it took a bit of time to play through it, but it didn't take like. Yeah, it probably took like 20, 30 hours, maybe 30. I don't know. So it's not like it's a bit of time, but it's not too bad, I guess. Yeah.
And you didn't get to marry a girl either. I feel like
no,
maybe one to try would be Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life on GameCube, because that one you get married no matter what at the end of the year. It's like whatever girl you're the highest with, like hearts wise.
The one thing I sort of gleaned a little bit from fans of the series is that I think 64 has one of the wider variety of options when it comes to romanceable when it comes to the girls. Like from what I remember, the game because I was really interested in this game in like high school. I just never got them. But from what I remember of coverage of It's a Wonderful Life on the GameCube is that there are only 3 or 4 romanceable partners, where like this game has 6.
Yeah, that's that one's. I should have said that is the most limited options for girls. Yeah. But yeah, it's always been a fond game to me. It's kind of nostalgic for me though too. They have a Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, which has like 3 girl options, and then they have Harvest Moon: Another Wonderful Life, which is you play as a female character and you have 3 guy options. Yeah. Like that would be a good one to play, just so like at the very least you can experience the marriage, and then there's like children can come later, and your child like each year can actually grows older, and you can actually like influence what kind of field they go into, like what kind of jobs they're interested in. So that's interesting element.
It's Dragon Quest V.
All right, so 2 Gents.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. That's it for the video.
Yeah, okay. Oh, okay. All right.
So the first video I said, I'm going to be Supreme Gent. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
And I'm here today to tell you that I am a rascal.
Wow.
Don't know what happened. Something got lost in the equation there. So I wish I had a great story to tell that of like I really tried hard with this game and it was like I got stuck on on this crazy part. But really it was like I barely put any time into the game at all. Here I have Contact on the DS. Also, it's Saints Row the Third, which in retrospect I should have started with this one. Even though I think this one's a little shorter, just for some reason I couldn't get into this game. It felt like the kind of game I could get into, but it was just like a few hours in, and I wasn't feeling it. But I still had every intention of beating it, obviously. And then Pokemon came out, and then I played like Pokemon nonstop for hours and hours, and got distracted. And then I had like a couple days left of the challenge. I was like, let me hop back in this, see if I can push through again like I did last time with Metroid Prime. And then I played like a half an hour, and I'm like, no.
It's not worth it.
Yeah, I didn't have the fight in me that I had the first time. And
what was it that you didn't really like about the game?
I don't know. It's weird, like kind of combat system. I expected more of a simulation aspect, I guess. It's just not really a huge fan of the combat. It's the kind of combat where you kind of wait there and you have to wait for them to attack like manually, and it's not like turn based or anything. It's just you're kind of out in the wild and you run to enemies and do that, and just it wasn't that appealing. They do some cool things where they utilize the top and bottom screens in a pretty unique way, but I don't know. I just wasn't into it.
Weren't feeling it.
It's not a real excuse, but I just like. I lacked the motivation for some reason that I was able to Metroid Prime like the last day just push through and finish it, and this one's like I feel like it's considerably shorter than Metroid Prime based on how long to beat.com at least. So like theoretically I could have done that.
Sorry, I missed that. Could you say it again, please?
What?
Why did that just come on?
It's something in what I said sounded like "Hey Siri." Apparently, it does it all the time, randomly in conversation.
This is why I don't. This is why I don't have my voice to. I don't have Google Assistant on my phone. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I don't like things listening to me. It creeps me out.
Yeah. Well.
So.
Yeah. So I wish I had a great story to tell, but really it was just that I sucked on this challenge and. I caved in, and Saints Row the Third I know I would have enjoyed too. That's the problem. I should have started with this one, but at the time that I even went back to this game, it was like the final couple days of the challenge because I had been spending way too much time playing Pokemon. So
yeah, how that feel?
So you guys are both Gents. I'm a Rascal. So that did an interesting thing to I keep track of the statistics and how the stats on Gents challenge. So now. That brings Pestro to an 80% success rate, 4 out of 5 challenges.
That's very
he's
impressive.
Participated in. And now, Alec and I both have 50%, 3 out of 6. So,
not bad. I'm gonna keep the streak alive.
Yeah, I was hoping to just like I'm never gonna lose a challenge anymore. I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Not so much for that, I guess.
Yeah.
Supreme only now.
Because I went Rascal, Gent, Rascal, Gent, Rascal. And you went Rascal, Gent, Rascal, Rascal, Gent, Gent.
So no one's been Supreme here, though. Right?
No one's been Supreme here. We're not in the upper echelon.
It's the tough trifecta. It's only 2 things, but it's a trifecta. Somehow.
This is the one that I should have been a Supreme Gent. So now I have zero faith that I'll ever be Supreme Gent.
Oh man,
these were two
you have zero faith that you'll ever be Supreme Gent now.
These were 2 reasonably length games. They were based on the website. There was like 11 to 15 hours each. So it was like these would have been the ones to deal with. It was bad timing, for sure, with the Pokemon and Luigi's Mansion and all the stuff we were doing, but. No excuse. I should have finished it. Next time though, we'll see how it goes. I'll do all Harvest Moon games.
Supreme Harvest Moon Gent.
Supreme Harvest. That would take so long too, because
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
most of the
that
Harvest
sounds like
Moons-
that would be awful.
I feel like most of the Harvest Moons take longer than Harvest Moon 64 does too, because I feel like most of them go past year 3, so it's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah, 2 Gents, 1 Rascal. I expected us all to be Gents, so it was gonna be Supreme Gent. It was gonna be great. But here we
Nope,
are.
you can't lord it over us.
All right, so the next Gents challenge we do, we'll probably do videos again. Maybe get another guest involved. It's always fun. Pestro, thank you for joining us on this journey.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.
Thank you. It was a good time. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
All right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. Until next time. All right.